Good afternoon, WSSEA. We are back with some more Splatoon 3 action. We got Lake Stevens, we got Mountlake Terrace here for a matchup at the top of the standings. Once again, I'm Spicy, joined on the mic here with Neptune. How are we doing today?
I'm feeling fantastic here. We have some absolute titans brawling it out today here. Both these teams are 6-0, but you know what else is just amazing out here? We gotta give a shout out to Zotac here for powering today's stream. Thanks to their incredible support, we're able to bring this broadcast to you all, helping showcase the amazing talent in Scholastic Esports. You can show your appreciation for Zotac Game by giving them a shout out on social media. Make sure to join the community Discord, and don't forget to use hashtag powered by Zotac or hashtag Zotac Gaming when you post as well. So yeah, we have just an amazing matchup here, Spicy. Like a battle for the top of the standings, as you put it here. You know, we have I believe one more week left here as well, which is you have to make up your matches here. So this could potentially decide the top seed here, Spicy, and these two teams are going to go head to head to get it.
Yeah, it's so fun, especially when you have like this a matchup like this at the end or towards the end of a regular season. You've already gone through a lot of like your heavy hitter matchups, but
Mhm.
then you know that like especially as you see the standings as they progress, like we're still undefeated, there's another team
Right.
still undefeated, and just the inevitable clash at the end here. So it's awesome that we actually get to see this here, especially on stream. And these two teams we talked about beforehand, they're very much ready to have everything for this game go. Like they already had their coin flip determined. We already know that we are going to Splat Zone ship shape right away. We knew this like 15 minutes before we even went live. So these two teams are ready just to see who's going to be able to remain undefeated.
Yeah, for sure. Just like you could tell, like how enthusiastic these teams are for Splatoon, because when you are at the top, you have to keep your skills up. You have to keep those communications up. You have to be ready for your opponent here. And they are here on time, already knew what they wanted at the start right here. Mountlake Terrace, I believe, won the coin flip here. And going to a
Hmm.
map as volatile as ship-shaped cargo go, which I find is very like interesting from the perspective of people normally have this as a tiebreaker or more of a counter pick option, not usually a starting map here, because you there's more neutral zones maps to start off like Haggle and Mako. So I believe something's up the sleeve of Mountlake Terrace, and we're going to see that unfold as we get into the game.
Yeah, it's a traditionally seen as a counter pick, as you mentioned, very volatile. When you think of how small the zone is, how many different ways there are to
Mhm.
capture it, as well as just different ways to force a lockout, which is very prominent on ship-shaped cargo as a whole. So if you're a team like Mount like Terrace, picking this right away, you have to have some kind of advantage going in. So we're going to see what these teams have in a roll. We got Lake Stevens here in the yellow on the left, Mount like Terrace coming in on the right, and immediately Neptune. What sticks out from these opening comps?
Okay, first thing that sticks out to me are coolers on both ends here. Both these teams recognize the power of cooler in Splatoon. If you get splatted while you're coolered, you are able to come back really fast and keep a lot of your specials. So it's going to be a momentum game. But 2 down and no, 3 down, Spicy. A wipeout in less than 15 seconds. Lake Stevens out here ready to brawl.
Yeah, and it's so good here for Lake Stevens because they also picked their E-leader here, and now their E-leader has so much time to set up defensively and put so much pressure here onto Mountlake Terrace. Mountlake Terrace struggling to get in. They have given up the first 5, make that the first 6 picks, as they have gotten wiped out twice in the first 40 seconds of this game, as Lake Stevens is already past the 50 here.
Past 50 here, there's not much time. We have the cooler online, and we're looking to see if we can get onto the top right here. I like this positioning here, trying to get that E-leader off angle, but no, the teammate on Lake Steven, Crown, is going to be able to get that amazing pick right here, and that E-leader is so constricting. You're forced to basically play around the sides here, and other teammates recognize that. There's hardly any time here, Spicy.
Yeah, less than 12 here to go, and this is looking like a third wipeout as Lake Stevens is going to have basically a perfect game here in game 1. I don't know if we have the exact stats, but I believe that not a single member of that team fell once, and that is incredible to have basically the entirety of the fights go your way when 100-0 in terms of points, and it was straight dominance. Looking at why this is an undefeated team going into this.
Yeah, for sure. Like, we saw Lake Stevens before on stream, and they asserted their
Yes.
dominance several times. Like, that E-leader player especially has been very dangerous if they get set up here as well. Because the thing with leader is just for being alive and present, you immediately lock down that middle lane there. Anytime
Mm-hmm.
someone tried to pass through there, immediately Lake Stevens was able to get that pick and just force them on the back foot here. So to kind of force them to kind of snake around the right side where it's harder for the leader to hit them. But this is where the team play comes involved. You position your teammates to watch that angle, watch that flank, and then you get that punished accordingly. And that leads to that snowball and that flawless game here. I guess that's just what we call picture perfect here, Spicy.
Yeah, I don't think you could word it any better there. It's basically everything like Stevens wanted in
Mm-hmm.
terms of the game plan was actually put out in execution. And it's so rare to actually have those
Right.
moments happen where everything you want to happen actually comes to fruition there. But credit to Lake Stevens for knowing the game plan, knowing the strategies that they wanted to approach, and also just keeping their players
Mm-hmm.
alive. And you saw them just win in terms of fights, and especially just from the beginning. They found 2 like immediately as both teams got to mid. And that from there was always in a numbers advantage. And it's so hard, especially on a map like Ship Cargo, which, as you mentioned, very volatile, very much a counter pick here. It's hard to do that sometimes, but still potentially a long set here. Mountlake Terrace had such a strong season up until this point as well, and now they had the counter pick once again. We're going to tower control for mode 2,
Mm.
and now Mako Mart here as the map.
Okay, so I kind of see what how do I say it? Mount Terrace is here. You want to have more angles on this map. If you have something that's very linear, like ship shape, that's where E-Leader excels, right? Because there's only
Mm.
so many options to approach or flank here. Mako Mart, you open up the map, you have 3 lanes, you have stacks to play around with. However, good E-Leader players know how to position very properly and rotate effectively to be able to cover the angles that are necessary or that tower is going. And with tower control, you need to ride that tower and you stay on those checkpoints. And when you are on those checkpoints, that's when it gets very dangerous because you need to stand on the tower exposed for several seconds at a time right here. And while even though seconds is not a long time in Splatoon where frames are everything, definitely not going to be safe from anyone riding that tower unless you get a wipeout, Spicy.
Yeah, and you saw how what happened. We had multiple wipeouts in the last game just from Lake Steven's side, finding 3 in basically
Mm-hmm.
90 seconds, which is a wild statistic just to think about it like that. But Mountlake Terrace trying to turn narrative on its head here, see what we have going into game 2, whether it be the weapon swaps, whether it be a playstyle shift. We see okay, Clash Blaster actually coming out from Lake Stevens. It took me a bit to actually think about that. I don't think that's the first time we've seen it this season as Mountlake Terrace brings back effectively the same comp.
Yeah, for sure. Clash Buster is definitely a bit of a skill check weapon here, being able to cover a lot of different angles here and approach these ledges here on Mako Mart. So I definitely see why that was picked over here. But we do have some flanks here coming out from the Gal, but that sword player is stuffing it out here. It's very difficult to move up here with that Clash Buster getting another pick. And you see right there, Spicy, an amazing pinch play from Lake Stevens is going to let them to a wipeout and get to this first checkpoint.
Yeah, and deja vu once again. They have Blake Stevens is gonna find a wipeout and find multiple picks again after the fact. You see that the E-Leader just perks up on that right side, just has so much range, it's pretty giving so much protection, and it looks like the Clash Blaster is taken out, but in the process, Mountlake Terrace gets wiped once again, twice within the first minute for the second game in a row. Wavebreaker is going to come out, is going to be on the tower here, and here we are at the second checkpoint already for Lake Stevens.
Lake Stevens is on a hot streak right here, getting a third wipeout back-to-back. History repeats itself in a way that Lake Stevens absolutely favored here to get this tower knocked out here. We're rapidly barreling towards this last checkpoint here, and meanwhile, Mountlake Terrace is finding any opportunity to do it. Not quite here. Desperation smells defeat right now as Lake Stevens put on the pressure, put on the gas, and takes game number 2.
I wanted to give a lot of credit to whatever Lake Stevens did as prep going into this matchup because they seem to know everything that Mountlake Terrace wants to do, and that is not something that you can ignore at this point. 2 games in a row, we have seen Lake Stevens come out, find a wipe, and then that leads to just getting control of the objective. They have yet to give up a single point in terms of the actual objective going at this point, and it's already 2 games in. It's effectively 2 100 to zeros, and his team is looking unstoppable at the moment.
Unstoppable indeed. We might it's very difficult to like contest this right here. It feels like we're seeing a whole nother level of play that Mountlake Terrace just simply cannot compete with here as well. But there were opportunities Mountlake was able to potentially get a comeback from as well. But immediately Lake Stevens just shut the door to all those possibilities. You saw those players stacking very close to their spawn area, trying to take as much high ground as possible so they're outside of the leader range. But in response, we saw the Zipcaster come out, the Spider-Man special, right? Where you just kind of immediately sling yourself into the direction where or your enemies are at, and they weren't afraid to just go for that pick right there. The confidence is showing, and when you have confidence, you can make big plays like those wipeouts and just snowball the tower 100 to 0 like we saw right there, Spicy.
Yeah, it's a lot of just momentum now from the side of Lake Stevens, and we are going to Clam Blitz for game 3. So this one traditionally is going to function a little bit slower here, just how we've been seeing it, especially in WSSEA. But the way Lake Stevens is playing, their ability to just can keep the momentum up in terms of having numbers advantage is probably going to be a key thing for them if they try to go for another 100 to 0 route here. Mountlake Terrace, I really want to see what they're able to do in terms of adjustments now as well back against the wall in terms of keeping their season undefeated. And they've been good so far at this point here. And I know there's still going to be a lot of fight left in this team as they try to just get on the board here.
Yeah, for sure. As someone once told me, you need pressure to make diamonds, and maybe that diamond is
Mhm.
finally going to form right now. Your back is against the wall, like you said earlier, and now Mountlake Terrace is potentially thinking about a weapon they can swap to potentially help them out right here. That edit is getting bullied quite a bit because it's getting outranged by the E-leader, it's getting outranged by the sword, and potentially we might have to change up a little bit of how we're approaching these situations as well. If they're able to walk all over us so confidently, what's enabling it? Is it the positions? Is it the space? Is it the matchups? It's all about how you're playing around each other here in Splatoon. And already we're seeing some massive shakeups here for both the cooler options. We see end zaps on both sides, Spicy.
Yeah, Mountlake Terrace rocking in basically an entirely different comp here, going for a much more aggressive and in-your-face type of weapon composition. You see the Tetra dualies, you see the ends up, you see the Octobrush come through. Unfortunately, they are going to lose out the opening team fight once again, as Lake Stevens already has a power clan built up as well. Not only are they finding great use of this opening neutral, but they've already establishing well in terms of the clan economy, and they're going to get the first score. 2 power clams are in play as they're already down to 60.
2 power clams, indeed. That's definitely one way to start off a clam blitz game, but you need to cycle these clams effectively or the basket is going to close, and now there's going to be a little bit of a cooldown period before the basket to open up again. Maybe this can give some time here for Mountlake Terrace to mount a push of their own here. We have Tetris here, we have a lot of mobility, we have a lot of aggression, we have a lot of scrapping. That Zipcaster comes out, being able to trade one here, but can they find another? No, not quite. Zero comes down from all comes down and scores, leading their team to score even more here, Spicy.
Yeah, you knew that from Zero. It was going to be a clutch factor here, finding the pick as Lake Stevens is able to find the basket as well. They're keeping the basket open here at this point, already at 39. Reef Slider coming in through and is going to find one as well. It is just the NZAP player here from Mountlake Terrace. Robin just trying to stay alive, prevent Lake Stevens from scoring any further. The basket will close once again, but Lake Stevens already know at the 36 plus penalty.
Definitely. It's going to be an uphill battle here already with over 36 points remaining with 22 penalties. It's not going to be too many power clams left if Blake Stevens keeps this up here, but we see a little bit of a flank here on the right. A lot of mobility, being able to use that Soda 2 advantage does increase your movement speed. You manage to get a slide here, 2 down, and Blake Stevens is on the back foot here, Spicy.
Yeah, and there's the wipeout. It's exactly what you're looking for here if you're Mountlake Terrace. They have the Zipcaster ready. They are going to open the basket here. You're probably going to see the Zipcaster come in through soon as well. And you're trying to just see what are they going to be able to do. 2 specials online here from the side of Mountlake Terrace. It is just the Tetra Julie up alive at this point who has to retreat back. But they have managed to at least get on the board here. And now we're in uncharted territory within this set. 2 minutes have passed here. We're about to reach the halfway point of the game in terms of time. Zero once again here with this E-leader, just trying to find these extra picks and give them team some advantage, and they are starting to get hot once again. This E-leader is barely missing these shots, and it looks like Lake Stevens is going to get another push, try and make their way back to the basket, and they have a power clamp again, and they're already at the 18.
18 points remaining here. We're going to have a near knockout situation, especially with the wipeout here from Blake Stevens. More clans funneled in this time, so the basket will remain open. The last 3 clans spawn on their snipe, going to close this one out. Yes, indeed, Lake Stevens. Even though they were put on the back foot there, Mountlake Terrace was not able to stabilize and keep up the aggression there. Wow, Spicy. A convincing 3-0, but that last game certainly was so close.
Yeah, the number 3 is going to be a big thing here from Lake Stevens. We got 3rd, I believe, last season over in 2024. And here they are now. You just saw the number of wipes that they got in this 3-0, consistently finding those 3 downs. And this team is just looking really good at this point here. And as you mentioned, credit to Mountlake Terrace, especially in that game 3, for the fight that they put up, as well as I liked a lot of the adjustments they were making and just really being able to win those fights, get some points on the board. But dang, this Lake Stevens team is looking really good right now as the season winds down.
Lake Stevens is setting themselves up for success. Going to be probably going to playoffs as the top seed if they keep playing this way. I believe they only have one more matchup, which is going to be next week as well. But I got to give my flowers to Mountlake. There were adjustments right there. There was an ability to push them back and punch them in this face. It's that bully in high school you think you can't let a touch on, but you manage to be able to sock them right in the face right there to show them, hey, you have to respect this option. You have to respect I'm a Tetra Duel. You have to respect I'm an Octobrush here. And we got that wipeout. We got that momentum. We had those points on the board. I think we just got a little bit of cold feet at the end here, realizing we didn't want to give up too much space right there, but we didn't want to get picked off. So in that instance, we just had a little bit of a time where we had to back up, and Lake Stevens, recognizing all that space being given up, took that advantage and knocked it out from there. Just, wow, that is a dynamic storyline.
It really is, and I would be very excited to see these teams potentially rematch in playoffs as well. So
Yes.
credits to Mountlake Terrace for the fight that they put up. Big flowers to Lake Stevens for putting on an absolute show, especially in terms of their team fighting and ability to play around objective perfectly. And also, lastly, got to give the flowers to Landfest, because this broadcast is part of Landfest Scholastic Esports program, a program that supports this league and many others. Since launching, Landfest has delivered over 300 broadcasts of Scholastic leagues in Washington and Indiana. We provide these broadcasts free of charge to the leagues, schools, and teams we cover, and your generous donations make this all possible. As a reminder, every $200 raised covers the operating cost for one regular season broadcast. And so if you appreciate our work, scan the QR code on screen and donate today.
Yes, thank you, Landfast, for making this all possible, as well as our other sponsor here, Zotac Gaming. Without you, wouldn't be able to see the show that was on today. And I feel like this is going to be something you could take away and learn and grow from if you're Mountlake Terrace right here as well. Like, you recognize, okay, this is what they want to do now. That they revealed their cards, and we can better prepare for it. There is still time. A winner is not decided until all the weeks have been played out. We dig into playoffs, and we potentially meet at the grand finals here. So again, it's a bit of an interesting situation to be in here, especially in a league setting, Spicy.
For sure, yeah. The beauty of the league format, you get to play your matches in the regular season. You learn from them over the various weeks, and then when playoffs come and it all matters, the team that has applied the most and has developed and really just learned from everything they've done in the past weeks, that's usually the team that comes out on top. Excited to see what these two teams have coming for us the rest of the way. But that will wrap up the coverage of Splatoon 3 here at WSSEA for this week. Neptune, before we plug everything off, where can the great people of this community find you?
You can find me at Neptune-TV over on Blue Sky. I usually am over there and pretty active in the Splatoon community as well. Our CCA season wrapped up right there, so our collegiate folks are going to be a little bit of a break right there as well. We will have some summer events to look out there, so we're looking to see if we can get some of these high school players in here as well. But before we get those people, Spicy, let me ask, where can the fine people find you?
Find me on various socials at 2SpicyBM or at 2SpicyMK, whether it be Splatoon or other parts of Nintendo esports like Smash Brothers or Mario Kart. You'll find me on pretty much anywhere there, just helping out with those communities. As a reminder, we got Overwatch tomorrow, we got Smash on Thursday, but we'll be back with Splatoon next Tuesday. So until then, everyone have a good one. We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.